right, guys, welcome back to Helmets and Hoops. Got the full crew back on this episode again, aka me, Haitham Hassan, Sean Samlo, and Matt Wilson. And this time we're going to be talking about fantasy football strategies. I know draft time is coming up in a few months, so we're going to get some strategies and maybe help you guys out, maybe help you guys win some leagues this year. So,
I don't know about Sean, but I'm going to help you win.
Nah, I'm definitely gonna win some leagues this year. I'm getting back to fantasy football. For the last few years, I've kind of been turned off to it. I've been more turned on to fantasy basketball, and I don't know. I'm getting back into fantasy football now. But we're gonna start right into this episode, and I'm gonna ask you guys. So when you guys draft, do you guys keep injuries history in mind, or do you like to get the best available player? So for example, back when AP tore his ACL. And would you have missed out on the MVP season, or would you have gotten the MVP that year?
I would have missed out.
So,
yeah.
The thing is, for me, I think you can't entirely disregard someone's injury history. I think you use it as a piece of the puzzle in order to determine someone's value. And I try to use it more as a tiebreaker. So if I think that, AP is equivalent, she'll give me a similar season to running back B. If running back B isn't typically injured, I might go for AP, or I might go for running back B just because of that. So I don't use it to saying like he's better than this guy, but I try to take a holistic approach and just look at everything that goes into it. I missed out because you never knew it was his ACL, so typically people don't come back and like Superman and
like superhuman basically.
I mean, AP he's a whole other robotic monster,
right?
Like I think it hinders me how much I take injury history sometimes into account. Like basically Keenan Allen, for example, won me my league in 2014, and he didn't even have that good of a season. No, not 2014. I'm sorry. Or was it? Wow, he did it. No, it was back there. And then the next 2 straight years, he had problems with his knee, and now he had a really good season, almost the best seasons of his career in 2017. And I didn't want to take him at all because he had the 2 straight years of at least he played 8 games in 2015 and 1 in 2016. But like all the reports going through spring up to the draft that he was 100%, and I was way too afraid to even take him, and I missed out on that season. So it hinders me. I feel like I take that into account too much.
Yeah, and there's that one year where he like ruptured his spleen, or was it? Like
I remember he had like a big time.
Yeah,
it was like week 2, which was really early.
Yeah, it was early. He was out for the season with that one.
Yeah.
Too. So that I was gonna say like my next question is what kind of injury players would you guys avoid, and what kind of injury players would you guys draft?
I think it depends on when they were injured. So like a Rashad Penny that was injured in like week 10, 11. You got to look at the type of injury and typically what the recovery time is for an athlete, not for like a normal person, because we don't have state of the art medical teams like looking at us and dealing with that. And I'm interested to know how this like whole quarantine COVID situation affects their rehab. If I'm sure they're still getting the best they can, but so like those are the players I typically stay away. I won't draft Rashad Penny. I think he'll be a good second half. Like pick him up maybe week 7-ish when he's like projected to start coming back. Maybe take him a week early to make sure you have him. See what you got. But that's typically where I don't. That's the same reason why I missed out on AP, because he got hurt in like later in the season, and I was like, I don't want that, because typically humans do not come back from those injuries very quickly.
He's not human though.
So
that was week 14, and he came back like that. Oof.
Yeah, he took like 4 months and was able to in first week. I mean, it was his only slow week, but I think he still had 2 touchdowns. So that's just how I approach it.
Yeah. So speaking of Rashad Penny, some news from that camp is apparently they offered Devontae Freeman a contract because they wanted they think Rashad Penny's gonna come back a little late, but he said no.
Well, they got Carlos Hyde now.
Yeah, they just signed him, and it was reported that I'm not sure if you guys saw this, that Devontae Freeman is willing to sit out this season if he doesn't get dude, you're hurt every season.
And he's also 28.
Yeah, like it's
not young.
He needs to have a reality check.
He thinks he's Le'Veon Bell. You're not, man.
I don't get why you're willing to sit out a season. It's not like your value goes up in the eyes of the NFL. I don't know why you would think an older running back that has more rest would look better than someone who could prove that they can stay healthy for a season.
Yeah, no, I don't agree with that at all. He's messed up with his money. He's doing almost what Jadeveon Clowney's doing right now. He lost out on millions this offseason by holding out as more he did.
Definitely.
Well, Javion's not holding out. He doesn't have a contract. He's a free agent. So
I'm saying
he turned down a couple contracts.
He turned down a Seahawks contract for $20 million a year, and then now they're saying they won't offer him anywhere close to that now.
Yeah,
right. Because it's obvious that no one else gave it to him. So it's like, we'll give you good money, but we're not going to give you as much because you tried to play the game and you lost.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's unfortunate, but. I mean, that's the nature of it.
He did it. If you that's what happens when you gamble.
It's hard to feel bad for a millionaire who's trying to get extra millions.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, if you think if you know what your worth is, like, and you just wanted that, I get it. It's just it probably won't work out. It probably won't work out for you the way you think it is.
So,
yeah. But anyway, off a little tangent there.
Yeah.
Next, so. I want to ask you guys when you guys go for certain positions, or if you guys have that kind of like structure. So, do you guys like a certain position first?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
I would say, like, usually this year, I believe just my prediction, it's going to be thrown way off. But this is my usual template. My first 5 picks, I'll usually go running back, then wide receiver, and then running back, and then a tight end. Because usually I value tight ends just in general more than other people would. But so maybe that'll change this year. But usually I try to go for the best running back I can in the first round and third round, and then go for the top wide receiver because I'm always afraid of having – I guess it's easier to stream, obviously, wide receivers than running back, so maybe I should change that up a little bit. But this year – I'm going to bring up now these mock drafts that I've been doing, which is obviously way early and it's going to change. But people are taking Lamar Jackson pick 201, the first pick in the second round, and almost all of them. I've been doing like some research. And tight ends now are flying off like second and third round as well. So I don't know if like everyone's template is changing just based on how the fantasy seasons with tight ends are going, how there's those top 4 or 5. And, like, if you don't have them, you may be SOL. Like,
top 4 or 5 tight ends?
Yeah.
So, for me, with tight ends, I usually, if I see a great one in the third round, I usually get them then. And if not, then I'll usually wait till round 6 or 7 or 8 even.
Yeah, it's either, like, if you don't grab a tight – like, nowadays, this might change, but even last year I've been noticing if you don't grab one of those top tight ends by round 4, you might as well just wait till round 8 and stream them.
Yeah. Because if you're not getting the Kelce's, the Kittles, or the Ertzes, you might as well just wait.
Yeah. What do you mean? I mean, tight end has been deeper than it ever has before. We have a Mark Andrews. I mean, we have the top 3 that you're talking about: Ertz, Kittle. I don't actually think Ertz is in that top 3.
Mark Andrews. I mean, is coming on.
Mark Andrews. I think Evan Ingram is just as good. He's injury prone until he's not.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen was the same way.
Austin Hooper was up there. He's like top 6 tight end. Yeah. Darren Waller. Yeah.
Darren Waller. Jared Cook, the second half of the year, can't be undersold. He was great. He was scoring a touchdown a game. He has a great quarterback. Who knows that the reason why he didn't do as well the first half might be because of Drew Brees being out. And this is the norm that you should expect. Tyler Higbee, the second half of last year, went on fire.
The way I see it, though, I'd rather just draft a running back or receiver before I draft one of those tight ends you're talking about now, the Higbees,
Well, I'm just talking about you don't need to grab the guy early because it's so deep.
No, I don't say that. I'm saying I'll decide in the draft how I want to do it. It depends. I don't mind getting the later ones. I just won't ever get them before round 7 usually.
Oh yeah, you play it to the draft.
See, that's the smart way to do it. That's the way you should be doing it. But with the rest of the world overvaluing the tight end position now, they're actually taking them and
So
mid third round.
In your mock drafts, what tight ends have gone in round 2 and 3?
Kelsey and Kittle
have
been like the two.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have a set draft strategy. I typically play it by. I do. You do your mock drafts. You have to test your strategy to see how you would adjust based on what's happening in the draft. So if you draft 2 receivers early, like what would you do? What kind of running backs would you end up late with? Vice versa. If you go tight end or quarterback early, what does your team look like? Do you like the way that looks better than another makeup of your team? I think the way that it's typically going to turn out, there might be Michael Thomas in that top 4 or 5 for a lot of people, not for me particularly. So I think that the top 4 running backs, talking about Zeke, Saquon, Dalvin Cook, and McCaffrey, are going to be in some combination. The first guys coming off, I think most people have McCaffrey. His offense just might not be as good or might be better for him. Who knows? It's a start. But anyways, I think it'll be those 4 running backs and some combination of some running backs, some wide receivers. So it just depends on where you pick in the draft. I'm not sure where I want to pick yet because I don't know who's available later. I think wide receiver is very deep, so it might be better to prioritize running back early because you can kind of get interchangeable guys to a certain extent later on. So that's just my early feelings about it because I haven't done any mock drafts. This is just from me evaluating the fantasy landscape of the league right now.
So for me, I love getting a running back. I love running back heavy team. So I always get 2 running backs with my first 2 picks. It's almost exclusively where I do that, unless I see like a great receiver and decent. Unless everyone is doing running back heavy, and then I'll do the flip opposite and go receiver heavy, just so I can battle them with that. And I'll get like the first. If I'm later on in the round, if I'm picked like 11 or 12, and I see just running backs flying off the boards, I'm gonna get 1 running back, and then I'll get the best receiver available.
Mm-hmm. See, I disagree with that methodology only because if you are picked, so out of a normal 12-team draft, if you're picked 10 and you see the first 8 picks were running back, and then first 7 were running back, and then 2 wide receivers. Instead of getting your third best receiver, or maybe even like your first, depending on however you have it ranked in your head, instead of getting that best receiver, and you still might get him on the turn, you're going to get the 8th or the 9th best running back, which doesn't really help you. Instead, I would combat that with 2 great wide receivers. And then at some point, they're going to turn around and they're going to have to get wide receivers. So then the wide receivers the running back will start to fall back down to you, and then you can supplement it that way. Instead of taking the worst of that group just to have it because you're scared that, like, oh, crap, the running backs are falling off. And I was like, well.
No. I agreed with you. I said I would get one of the best receivers.
But you said you would get a running back, and then you get your best receiver.
Well, if I'm the last pick, I have both picks next to each other.
So, I
guess it's interchangeable technically. But
yeah, I would still think to get just 2 receivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So to piggyback off that, I was literally about to ask basically the same type of question. Would you guys rather have Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown, or Julio Jones and Tyreek Hill as your first 2 picks?
Julio Tyreek.
I'd rather have Julio and Tyreek.
Give me that.
Yeah, good. Because my last few mock drafts, and obviously it depends on where you are in the round, but like I always make myself, because I like the back half of the round, I always make myself like pick 8 or later. But the last 2 or 3 mock drafts, I was getting Julio and Tyreek, and I couldn't tell for some reason if I would have got a guy like Henry and Kenny Galladay, if that would have been better. But no, it definitely would be Julio and Tyreek.
Yeah.
Do you guys agree with A.J. Brown going at the 2-3 turn somewhere in the late second, early third?
I don't know. Everyone's like skyrocketing his projections for some reason, so I don't know even what to think of him.
No, so A.J. Brown is one of those players. There's always that player in the draft where people like to get higher. I'll avoid him so I can I'll just take someone else who I know is proven every year that you guys forgot about because you think so much about A.J. Brown.
So what about Deebo Samuel? Another kind of like sexy pick.
Ooh, I like Deebo, but I'm not gonna reach for him.
Where would you pick him? Where are you when do you start thinking about it?
Round 4.
It's not terrible.
Round 4 and then maybe 5. Definitely not round 4 though.
Yeah.
And it all depends on my like needs at that point. around 4 and like how the draft's going. Like how you said if running back's going heavy and my team's receiver heavy, then I would need a running back instead.
Huh.
You know?
Yeah. Just saying, if it worked out, if you needed a receiver, that's when you start to consider Debo. Is around 4 to 5.
Yeah, I also take like real life football into account. Like Debo's on a team that runs 70% of the time, 65 to 70% of the time.
But the reason why I would do Debo is they include him in the runs.
True. Yeah, he does those.
But they're not giving him
it's
8
only
rushes. It's like 2, maybe.
Still, but he has big plays usually off this. He had a couple touchdowns running last year.
Right. I'm just saying, I don't want to rely on his 2 rushes again.
No, I don't. But I'm saying he's always going to be in their game plan. That's why I like Debo.
Well, what do you think about Brandon Ayuk?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm
same type of.
So this is my next question, which I'm glad we're segueing this now. But I'm not one for. I don't like getting rookies. So I was going to ask you guys how you guys. If it's not a dynasty league, I do not like getting rookies. Is there? Yeah. I'd rather just go for the veterans while you guys get to set your rookie picks.
So you're not going to go for CeeDee Lamb?
No.
Gross.
CeeDee Lamb one is with Amari Cooper. I'd rather go for that Amari Cooper.
So Juju was with Antonio Brown, and Juju did well.
He did, but you'd
rather just miss out on that?
They're not. Yeah, I'd rather miss out on that. They're not that proven. Those are the hit ones.
But I mean, where you're getting these, you're taking shots on these guys anyway. I can't imagine you're drafting them before round 8 or 9.
Some people are like, I mean, Saquon his rookie year. That was different.
Running backs are different.
Mm-hmm.
For me, unless that running back is that clear number 1 running back, I will not get a rookie running back.
I mean, Josh Jacobs went in the 3rd round last year, I thought that worked out.
So I wouldn't have gotten that pick, but I'm not mad at it because he was the clear number 1 back.
Do you have an example of someone who we thought was the clear, and then I guess Ronald Jones,
Dalvin Cook his rookie year. Todd Gurley was injured. He came back
like week 6, I believe,
and had a great second half. Dalvin Cook, that's one. Melvin Gordon, that's another.
Hold up, Dalvin Cook was with Melvin Gordon had his K year. He just didn't score any touchdowns.
Year.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, you probably get him in round like 4 or 5. Trent Richardson, no.
He had a great rookie year.
Yeah, but then did nothing after that.
Dalvin Cook. I'm trying to remember Dalvin Cook's rookie year because it was him and Latavius there. Was there anyone else? I thought Dalvin had a good year, but he just got
McKinnon
hurt.
As well.
McKinnon. Yeah, but Dalvin Cook had a good year. I thought it was like week 2 to week 5. I think he had a great year, and then he got injured his rookie year.
Yeah.
Remember?
You're right, but still, with rookies, you don't know the injury history either, though. You don't know how they're going to stack against these big body players. You don't know if they're going to be frail or not.
But that could happen to anyone.
I guess,
Injury.
But like,
especially
I'm saying with veterans, you have a longer period to see how they stack against this NFL talent.
True. I think it's just for me. I don't want to play like I still take the shot. I try not to value the sexy new face because the new face is always fun. The new girl in the class, like everyone's interested. Too much, but still, like you can't play scared. You can't draft scared. You can incorporate a little bit of that risk into your draft strategy, so you can, maybe draft someone with a safer floor because you're aiming for the ceiling with your next pick. Taking the Will Fullers, if he stays healthy, then he's going to go on his like historic 32 touchdown pace season. Or something like that. I think there's different ways to draft to incorporate the risk so that you're good to go.
Well, all right. So then, who's rookie this year that you love?
I don't know about love, but Jerry Jeudy could have a fine season.
I think the only rookie player that I would get is probably Hilaire from Kansas City.
And I would draft him late.
Yeah, but I'm saying like he's the only one that I would even look at really. I'm definitely not looking at Rard.
See, I'm higher. I would look at Keyshawn Vaughn almost just as much, if not even a little higher, just based on the simple fact that Tom Brady.
What round does that look like in a fantasy draft?
In Keyshawn Vaughn?
Yeah.
Oh God.
You say you look at him. Is that round?
I would like round 9 and later.
I don't think you'll get him. Maybe even earlier because people are like, Tom Brady, new rookie. They drafted him for a reason. Ronald Jones sucks. That's what everyone's going to think. I mean, I think that – Hayden, you don't like Denzel Mims, Jets receiver?
I do, but I don't like Sam Darnold.
I think it's too early to tell. We don't know how healthy he was. I'm going to try to give him the benefit of the doubt for last year. You don't know if mono affects you.
Sam Darnold, I haven't really seen any flashes of him that I really consider like great. So I want to wait till that.
There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot more rookie wide receivers in this draft.
Oh yeah.
That have talent, or that you can bank on having a better season than
Brandon Ayuk, Jalen Rager.
Yeah, Jalen Rager. What about him?
Jalen Rager. So him, that's different because Eagles need receivers and they like to throw the ball for some reason.
But you said you didn't like any rookies. I'm trying to figure out.
I'm like baby. I like rookies, but I don't prioritize them at all.
That's fine. Okay.
They're definitely like the backhand, and if I see like what, I don't know who to get here. Then I'll get a rookie. I mean, I'll give you a shot right now. But I would definitely take the veteran over the rookie any day if I have the choice.
Mm-hmm.
Checks out, depending on who they are.
Yeah. So, all right, next question. Sleepers. When do you guys go for sleepers, and what kind of sleepers do you guys go for? Do you guys go for rookie sleepers, or do you guys like to get the like young players who had some little flashes the year before?
I think the player was in flashes, but
do you have one from last year that you have in mind?
No, not from last year. But I have an example of your sleeper for last year. Pettis from San Fran. He had a great
fired.
So I get why Sean down him as sleeper. He had a great end of his rookie year, but then second year, nothing. Like
hype.
Yeah. So like, how do you guys prove your sleepers? Like,
I hate him.
Like you.
And what kind of sleepers do you guys go for?
So sorry, you got to bring up Pettis. God, I hate it. Everywhere.
But
My God,
you can't be mad at the.
Yes, I can.
No, you can be mad at him, but you can't be mad at yourself for picking him.
No. My evaluation was spot on. He just wet the bed. So when I'm looking at sleepers, you have to take a holistic approach. I love saying that.
I don't know.
So I tend to look at the second half of the season for newer players, for second and third year players, because I think it shows more so what the team is trying to do, whether it's from injury or change in situation, a trade, something like that. So, like, for example, it was Dante Pettis 2 years ago is what I was looking at. I also was pretty high on Mark Andrews. I got him in a dynasty because that worked out very well. But anyway, so like looking at like AJ Brown, it's the perfect example. Like his is on steroids because everyone is on AJ Brown. Joe Mixon, like why can't he continue to do what he did last year? If they figured out like, oh, this is working, our offense is moving, they're becoming more productive. That could work out. Tyler Higbee, what I mentioned earlier, was the reason why they shifted to a more two tight end set because of injury to Brandon Cooks, who's not there anymore, or was it because that he got forced into that role because Jared Everett went out late in the year? Taking these kinds of shots and like trying to identify certain trends that happened later on last year that it wasn't sexy, it didn't help someone win a league, might help you win the league this year.
So for me, when I do sleepers, I get players who I saw little flashes of, and then I will, for example, a player like I'll say Christian Kirk, who now you see what happens around him, like him getting more offensive weapons on his team to where he'll open up more. Those are I have sleepers like that, to where their situation changes. I'm like, all right, you know what? They're probably going to get a better season because of something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What about like Alan Lazard?
I don't like drafting Packer receivers.
What?
Yeah.
What?
At all.
I don't like drafting Packer receivers. I don't know who to draft. Aaron Rodgers is
no one ever steps up
besides
Devontae Adams.
It's almost never, yeah, besides Devontae Adams, it's never consistent with who's the receiver who's gonna do well.
Even though I like Funches 10 times more than Alan Lazard.
I agree, and you hate Funches. I like Funches.
I don't know why you hate
Yeah,
Funches.
me and Matt both
the best
like
receiver they've had there in forever.
Are you serious?
Oh,
he's slow. He's just a big tight end. He's another tight end running around out there. And Aaron don't throw to tight end, so I don't want any part of that.
I don't know.
Alan Lazard is a great receiver. Not groundbreaking. Great, though. Great receiver. Watch it.
Watch. Valdez Scantling going to have more points than him.
Nah, maybe Geronimo. Oh, wait. Never mind.
See? That's what I mean.
I like watching trends. Even guys that played all season that had huge breakout sessions but then did nothing for 3 or 4 weeks. Like for a good sleeper for me this year, who I think is going to go off, is Jamison Crowder.
Just so than what he did last year?
Just because Sam Darnold stares him down and just peppers him with targets. He had 122 targets and only played 12 games this year. He was on pace for more targets than Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins. He just gets the ball peppered at him, whether he's open or not. I'd rather take the volume.
But they also added Mims and Brashad Perriman in that offense.
True.
But they lost Robbie Anderson, which had a lot of
Darnold likes to throw the ball underneath.
Is that Darnold or is that Gase?
Huh?
Adam Gase.
He's asking if it's Adam Gase's coaching or is that
system. I mean, Jarvis Landry ate in Miami. It just might be an Adam Gase thing. I mean, it still works to your point.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Landry also ate his first year in Cleveland too before Odell showed up.
Landry was great last year. Yeah.
I mean, he's been eating since. Yeah, he's been eating like. I think it's bad. I think Jarvis Landry is a great receiver. And
absolutely.
I remember back when you didn't think he had over top 5 receptions in the league. I remember I won that bet.
And you've lost every bet since.
Oh shit!
Whatever. No track record. Lying.
Called out this thing from like 4 years ago.
Just so that Giannis would be MVP, but that's a whole nother topic.
It's not documented.
Anyway,
moving on.
All right, yeah. So, who in recent years has been your best fantasy pick, and who has been your least favorite fantasy pick?
Dante Pettis. Worse.
And then why?
Because no one loves him. Next.
Oh my god,
you're so mean to Pettis. He
made me look a fool.
That's someone's baby. What are you doing?
Baby back.
My best fantasy pick was probably Tyreek Hill. Like I kind of randomly, I didn't know much. Actually, let me pull up the stats here. Was it his first year when he broke out, 2018 or 2017?
It was his.
Oh no, he had a decent season, but
it was Alex Smith's last year.
Right, yeah. 2018 when he had 87 catches for 1,479 yards and 12 touchdowns.
Whatever his second year in the league was.
Yeah. So I picked him and Mahomes, so I won like $1,000 in my my main league that year just because I had both that combo.
That's another thing I was going to ask. Do you guys like to stack players together like that, like receiver quarterback duos like that, where one person scores, the other one scores too?
I use it as a tiebreaker. I don't try to reach to go get the receiver for my quarterback or vice versa.
Yeah, like if it happens, it happens. But I don't go if I take Phillip Rivers this year, I'm not going to go ahead and try and reach for T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, Ty Hilton.
I don't know.
Ty.
Yeah.
And I never do those reach. I never have the running back and the receiver from the same team, even if it's running back, receiver, and quarterback. I'm sorry, the three-way. Like the quarterback, the running back or wide receiver, I'm fine with, mainly because I play in PPR league, so you'll still get points for accumulating target.
So if you had the chance, you wouldn't get in the year they had a great year, you wouldn't get Antonio Brown, Big Ben, and Le'Veon?
Well, now I would, but I would not.
Well, obviously, if you look back on it.
Or you wouldn't get Zeke, Amari, and Dak?
No. I don't.
I mean, also like the bye week implications. I'm afraid of like 3 of the top players in the bye week.
I don't care about bye. I actually would rather have all my players have the same bye week, so I just have one L that I'm like, all right, let's be one L, and I don't know about the rest of the season. Instead of having every week I'm missing out on one player. That pisses me off more than having all bye weeks on 1 week.
The thing is with that though is you could still win your bye week because if you're missing people, more than likely your opponent is still missing people. So if it turns out that you're missing more people, you could lose. But like it's too hard to judge, especially if you're an active owner and you're making trades during the season. It's too hard to take bye weeks into account. It's like, oh, I have too many bye weeks. That player could be injured in week 2, so then it's not an issue anymore. So I try to avoid early bye weeks because I don't really like the week 4 or 5 because I think the Packers have week 5 bye week coming up. It's like I don't really care for that, but it's more of a tiebreaker. I'm not going to let that dictate where I go with the draft pick. I may settle on a better player because I'm afraid of something.
Yeah. And you mean tiebreaker in terms of like picks, right? Like, oh, if there's somebody you don't like, and then gotcha.
Yeah.
And the person who's burned me as far as like picking the last couple of years has been AJ Green, because I took him a lot in 2016 and 2018, and of course those are the only 2 seasons of his career where he's gotten like hurt. So like, you know what? It's screwed up. I picked him in 2016, only played 10 games. Then I'm like, I'm not going to take him 2017 just because I'm afraid of the injury. And he blows up, has 143 targets. Then I'm like, okay, I'm taking him in 80% of my leagues in 2018. And he gets hurt again. Oh, my God.
See,
Gotcha.
I had the same thing with Doug Martin, where Doug Martin blew the hell out. And then I was like,
every other year, yeah.
And then I did him, and he has a terrible year. But, all right, I'm never doing him again. Then the next year after that, he has another great year. I'm like, all right. All right, you know what? Maybe that one bad fluke. So I did him again, and he never is again. I don't care if Doug Martin has 4,000 rushing yards. I will never get him again.
And that's how I am with Gronkowski, and that's what I was talking. When I talked about earlier how it hurts me a lot of times. I have not taken Rob Gronkowski. He's been off my draft board for the last 5 years, just simply because I'm afraid of the injury.
I'm the same way with Gronk.
Yeah.
Was Gronk? Who else am I the same way with? I'm the same way with
Keenan Allen.
Yes, Keenan Allen is the other person who I've been scared to draft.
Yeah,
he's been hurt lately. Will Fuller, is that tied? Deshaun Jackson.
I will never get Will Fuller. Not even just let alone injuries. He's so inconsistent. He'll have a 30-point game and then a 2-point game.
It's wild.
I will never draft Will Fuller.
That's more of a DraftKings play. DraftKings fan.
Oh yeah. But either then, you just have to hope and gamble.
Yeah.
He is literally playing roulette.
Here's a random fantasy. Oh.
He is getting Will Fuller to play roulette and betting on black and red and hoping that you didn't land on black or red.
Oh yeah, Will Fuller is probably the best example of that.
God.
But I have a question about Keenan Allen. Just a random fantasy question. How do you guys feel about Keenan Allen this year with Phillip Rivers out? Like, I feel like almost all of Keenan Allen's value was because he was getting the volume, because he was the only guy that Phillip Rivers was looking at. Like 140 straight targets for 3 seasons in a row. Like, I don't think Tyrod Taylor's going to just pepper the ball to him.
I don't see Tyrod Taylor being as confident as Phillip Rivers and just looking down a receiver. I see Tyrod Taylor. I see Tyrod Taylor, just trying to read the defenses more and trying to see what's open to him.
Yeah, I feel like Keenan Allen's one of the only receivers in the league, like one of the top receivers in the league, whose value is almost completely on the quarterback play.
How about
I disagree with that.
How about
name another one?
Stephon Diggs?
What?
Wait, what?
You're confused. Like
you mean like the targets and everything?
Like you're scared because you don't know how.
That is true. Never mind.
You're saying his production is directly tied to his quarterback?
It's like you'll be scared to get him because of his quarterback,
you discount him for sure.
Yes, Stephon Diggs. I'm scared of him because I don't know how he's gonna be with Josh Allen. I don't know how he's gonna be in that offense.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he's obviously based on real life football. He's not going to get the 160 targets he would get sometimes in Minnesota. But.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to take him to like round 6, 7, and so I'll probably miss out on him because someone will be like the name, just in case. If, he's so talented.
Yeah.
He's gonna mess you up because there'll be some games where he gets like 7 targets but only catches 2 because they're god awful targets.
So do you guys like to avoid players who change teams?
Wide receivers,
depending on the situation, yeah, like
especially during this quarantine where people can't like get on the same timing as well as they might otherwise. Yeah, I don't want no part of it.
So you would be reluctant to get either Godwin or Mike Evans, Chris Godwin or Mike Evans. You'd be reluctant to get one of them.
Not Godwin because he plays in the slot more so, and that's Tom Brady's kind of like safety blanket. So I think if anyone was going to get peppered, it'd be him. I actually like him better as a receiver than Mike Evans.
I think Godwin is a beast.
So I mean, sexy pick. So hindsight, but like I don't want to draft the Stephon Diggs really. I don't want to go to. I mean,
DeAndre Hopkins.
No, because he's only going to have 55 catches this year, says Matt.
Apparently, according to Matt.
I don't want any of that. That's only 4 catches a game. I don't want or less.
Is it? It is. Yeah, I might change that. By the way,
I would hope so.
Yeah,
3 catches a game.
I'll give him 20 more catches.
Yeah, me and Sean said at least 75 catches.
75 is fine. Like they spread the ball a lot in Arizona. But
like on that example, as far as like the receivers changing to like different quarterbacks coming in, I'm a little afraid of Allen Robinson this year because I don't think Nick Foles is that much better of a quarterback than Trubisky.
I disagree.
Really? Look at
you.
hate
Trubisky. I hate Trubisky.
Oh, I hate Trubisky too, but I also hate Foles. I think he's insanely overrated. He's always sucked wherever he's been. And DJ Moore with Teddy Bridgewater, the type of role that DJ Moore plays in that offense, unless they obviously everything that we're talking about can be changed based on the actual strategy that they use in real life. But DJ Moore is that he doesn't play underneath. He's that downfield takes. What were you going to say, Sean? Let's hear it. I'm disappointed.
I think Curtis Samuel's more as the downfield guy.
They both are. Well, they both were with Newton, but I don't know. I'm so afraid to take DJ Moore and Allen Robinson this year, and I usually love Allen Robinson. I'll
have DJ Moore everywhere probably.
True.
You saw the way Teddy Bridgewater peppered his number 1, Michael Thomas. Why wouldn't he do the same? The opportunities will be there.
He's usually not like that though.
And he's not Michael Thomas.
DJ Moore is a great receiver.
Great receiver. Not Michael Thomas.
Their defense is bad. They're going to be behind. They're going to throw it. It's going to be wonderful.
It's going to be splendid.
So what? I mean, how about McCaffrey's catches?
Yeah,
he might be targeting McCaffrey more. It might be an easier target.
You can't target McCaffrey any more than you did last year.
You never know. You never know.
I think a good starting point would be looking at Kamara's and Michael Thomas's numbers with Teddy Bridgewater under center. I mean, then trying to extrapolate that for where like a baseline you could expect ish for DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey. They're not similar type players, but they're great talents in the same way. Their offenses are kind of built the same way, like in the sense that the Saints didn't really have anyone secondary besides Ted Ginn last year, and the Panthers have Robbie Anderson. Not the exact same, but like speedster, like what you're talking about. So like the offenses are obviously different, but the Saints defense is better. So if anything, you would be more inclined to run on the Saints last year as opposed to this year, where they're going to have to throw it. They're going to have to air it out a bit more. So that's why I'm like a good fantasy team isn't always a good NFL team. Look at the Buccaneers last year. Jameis throws 2 picks at the beginning. Well, time to open it up. Let's go.
Jameis was so bad in my opinion last year. I don't care if he had 31 touchdowns. He was so bad.
So
how do you have the same amount of picks as you do touchdowns?
Anyway, at the beginning, it's wild. Anyways.
Yeah. So next one, how do you like trades in your fantasy leagues? What kind of trades do you guys go for? And I know Sean, you like trade a lot. How do you like? Do you like trades, Matt?
Oh, that's all I do.
That's all you do?
His is worse. His is gross what he does.
Yeah, I probably trade more than Sean.
Oh my God, it's nasty. I've seen him. I've been in leagues with him, and I've seen his transactions. He'll drop a player 1 hour to drop a player, pick up another one, and then end up picking up the player he originally dropped a few hours
Oh my
later.
god! How do you have like more than 100 moves this season?
What I do?
Easy. Oh my god!
God, yes. Like I was in one league a couple years ago that they had to make transaction cap just because of me.
So odd to look at. You can't even go through the history because you're like, all I see is Matt doing a bunch of stuff, tinkering.
Oh my god!
I love tinkering.
The Ruxin.
So, yeah. What was the question?
Trades. Like, do you like? How often do you like trades, and what kind of trades do you go for?
Well, so my personal, I typically like to get the best player, because when you trade for the 2-for-1, if you get 2 good players for a great, you only you can start. It also depends on your situation. So, like, if you have no injuries on your team, let me get the best player so that I can fill in with another spot that I can take a shot at one of these rookies or something like that. But if you take injuries, sometimes you have to spread it out. You have to trade up your good player because people hold on to their best players like, no, I need this guy. He's my best. And I was like, you have 3 injured players. Like, you're not going to even get to the playoffs, so I need to win. You need to adjust. Maybe take a little more risk, like trade it for 2 good players to get you by, and then take a high-risk player that's like a handcuff or something in case Dalvin Cook gets injured. In case the starting running back gets injured, then you have a stud. You need to adjust. So I typically like to trade for the best player unless I need to, like, win this one game mode. I'll trade my great player that has a bye week right now to get a player that has his bye week over with that's a lesser value.
There you go. Yeah. I was about to say the same thing. Like, I usually am really risky. I don't trade a lot in every single league. I just do it depending on how I feel like my team is. Like, if I have a really crappy team for some reason and I didn't draft well, or I was in 2 different leagues at the same time drafting, I will almost use trades like a waiver wire. I will keep a guy for 2 games and trade him away for somebody that the normal person would think is, like, stupid. Like, I would trade Mike Evans for Tyler Lockett if Tyler Lockett has a better 6-game stretch. I'd rather have the Seahawks number 1 receiver over the Buccaneers number 1 receiver as long as the Seahawks schedule is they play the bottom 10 pass defense in the league. Yeah. But that screws me in the end sometimes. It worked a couple times, but I did that and I got like 9 or 10 wins in a couple of my leagues last year, but because nobody would trade with me through the playoffs because half of them who didn't make the playoffs just have great players and they don't pay attention anymore because they're not in the playoffs. I ended up with like a starting roster of like 2 RB3s, 1 wide receiver 1, a wide receiver 2. Like, I had Tyler Higbee, but he turned on, I guess, the last half of the season. But I lost by like 50 points because I had a horrible quarterback, no defense. I don't know. It gets you through the season, but the ultimate goal is to win a championship. So I wouldn't advise doing that unless you have a league you just want to play around in. But
like for me, I like to if I have a lot of depth, then that's what I'll start trading. Like, I start trading my depth for the bigger name players and the big point players.
Yeah,
or
that's the ideal way.
Yeah. Or if my team's doing bad and I have a good number 1 option, I'll trade him for depth. That I actually do that more often than the other way around because I guess I usually don't have that much depth. It's my team is I usually have a good starting lineup and I really don't have that much of a bench. But for trades, I definitely just prefer, just getting that depth later on because I remember one season I traded away Saquon and I got Andrew Luck, who had a great year. I got James Conner, who that was his breakout year, and then I got another receiver just for 1 player. I forgot who the receiver was for 1 player, and that helped me make the playoffs that year. I wouldn't have made the playoffs if I didn't make that trade, and I gave up Saquon for it. And yeah, big name his rookie year, but hey, whatever, I'll take it. But yeah, that's for strategies. Anything else that you guys want to add on that?
No, good to go.
We talked about a good amount.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you guys agree with anything or disagree with anything in our episode, feel free to comment. If you guys want to share your own fantasy football strategies, please do that.
Yeah,
And then
if
you guys want to talk about, and then you guys talk to each other about your own strategies as well.
I was going to say, if you guys want to suggest topics too, that's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely, please suggest topics for us. And we'll shout you guys out if you like your topic.
And if we don't like it, we will not shout you out.
Or we'll shout you out for a bad reason. But yeah, all right, guys. Till next time. See you.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.